Yo, what's good with y'all? It's Cubeatz back with another video for y'all today. Here we got a tutorial on OZ and how he makes his crazy drum bounce for Drake. So let's go straight to it. Here's the FLP. I'm gonna go over the sample first just because it's very quick and simple. Pretty much it. It's just a very simple recording I got from Splice. It was a very simple, generic, dark synth. As you saw earlier, I just took the first one and I made it unique, and this one is pitched up an octave. And this is the second part. What I did is I copied the same loop over and then just turned the volume down a lot, and on top I layered the second half, which is basically the same layer just with halftime on it, and then I pitched it up an octave and turned the volume down as well to kind of blend them together. And I just took the original sample and I looped it for the last part, and that was it. Very, very simple. But the part that y'all came for is the drums, so here's how the drums sound. So the drums have a lot of bounce, real groovy. So here inside the channel rack, you can see that almost all of these sounds come from Coding Files Volume 2 with me and Keon. If you go inside the drums, there's a live drum section, and these are all the sounds I used. So really it's kind of like building a puzzle. It's a bunch of small pieces and then overall combining them to create that full sound. I first started with the hi-hats. So when it comes to doing the hi-hats, always want to keep it simple, but you want to spice it up by adding multiple hi-hats. So you see I have 3 right here. So yeah, just some very simple organic sounding live hi-hats, and then I have this open hat where I turn the length up so it's very short, and then yeah, just very simple placement so you don't see any crazy rolls. Then I added the snares. OZ likes to use a lot of layers in his hi-hats and in his snares, so I have 4 snares layered on top of each other. And the placement, again, nothing crazy. They're just all placed separately to fit in the spot. And then in between, I have this little, very small snare roll. As you can see, the volume, I tuck it in the background a lot, so it's not up front and taking over the beat. Next, I went with the bass. So I didn't even use an 808 for this beat. I went to the one shots and I used this simple subway bass. So the pattern is very simple, but you can tell it has a lot of groove, has a lot of rhythm, and that's because it cuts in and out very frequently. And what I did to do that is I went to the envelope and I first made this little envelope where there's no release, and then I turned the attack up by 3% just so there's no clicking sound. And I did a lot of these little stutters where you have 2 notes playing next to each other. I'll take the first one and just fade it in a little bit. Also, copying your notes, pitching it up an octave is another thing that OZ does a ton in his beats. And yeah, very, very simple repetitive bass, but it's very catchy. And to go with that rhythm, I added this kick as well. Now if you copy the bass notes onto the kick, as you can see, they're not hitting constantly together. There's parts where the bass hits that the kick doesn't, and parts that the kick hits where the bass doesn't. A huge key factor for a lot of OZ's beats. I wanted to just add the kick to emphasize on certain notes, and then right here I just added the kick in the second half right when the 808 cuts off. For the effects on the kick, I made it 100% mono, same with the bass, and then for the kick I added this EQ to kind of emphasize the low mids for it to hit a little harder. Lastly, I just added some open hats in the background. OZ likes to use these a lot when it comes to layering on top of his other sounds to emphasize the drop or a kick, which is exactly what I did here. I have the first one right on the downbeat, another one layered on top of the snare, and then I have this very short open hat. I turn the length up. That plays right when I have this little roll right here. That was pretty much it. Another huge part of this beat is just the leveling. You don't want to have anything standing out or taking over the beat. And then besides the effects that I mentioned earlier, I really added nothing on top of these sounds. They're all perfect. And like I said, sound selection is extremely important. You don't want to choose any weak, flat sounding drums. If you need drums like these, Coding Files has everything you need with the entire drum live selection. It has a separate drum kit with double the sounds. Then obviously the one shots, the phrases, and it comes with a separate analog lab bank with 50 presets plus the bonus samples. And for limited time only, the kit is $50 50% off. So with the first link in the description down below if you guys want to go cop. But back to the beat, there's two last things before we wrap this up, and one of them is the arrangement. Arrangement is also very crucial. It's the way you kind of present the beat. You can have a fire idea, but if you present it in a weak way, it's gonna sound very repetitive, boring, and just bad overall. So the first noticeable thing when you play the beat is obviously the drop. I've heard this in a lot of OZ beats where he chops up the first half and just repeats it over and over. And same with the drums. As you can see throughout the beat, I chopped it up, and I forgot to mention that for certain parts I created this last snare pattern. That's pretty much it. Lastly, you have the master. I have a soft clip on here to have everything hit a little harder. I have this loop rater. It just has this tape stop at the end and it fades out the volume, and I automated it so it would come in here and there throughout the beat. Last but not least is the sound shifter. I took the whole beat down one pitch. It just made it sound a lot more mean, hit harder, and just kind of mess with the textures of the drums a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then this is the final beat. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. All the sounds come from Coding Files V2 with me and Keon, which comes with a bunch of drums. Comes with another drum kit, which is the live drums, one shots, the keys and bells, the multi-keys. Look at all these multi-key one shots, phrases. It comes with its very own analog lab bank with 50 presets, and it comes with these new multi-key presets. And for a limited time only, you can get the deluxe edition on sale. The deluxe edition comes with Coding Files 1 as well, which comes with its own drum kit, its own one shots, 500 plus more sounds. Plus it comes with 2 exclusive tutorials on melodies, samples, drum bounce, arranging, everything you need. So yeah, for limited time only, the deluxe edition is half off. Kit is literally 2 gigabytes, and that'll be the first thing in the description down below. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.